Guys, I just about had an oh shit moment pressing on this gear. This made me decide that I do no longer recommend the press method, so. This is Autohaus Z, and today we have this J160 with a TRD gear set. 5 days until the track day. Let's get started. Alright, so thank you to Shock the Mob for this TRD gear set. Not a gift, definitely paid a lot for this guy. So the story goes, this was originally behind a AE86 race car, 4AG powered. So this adapter plate, we don't know who manufactured it or if the guy made it himself, but this should bolt up to a 4A engine. You can see the transmission mount was modified so this trans could fit behind an AE86. The original shifter tripod, I think it's a TRD shifter, and we'll take a look at that right now. Yeah, Jacob and I seem to think that this is a TRD shifter for a J160, but hopefully someone in the comments can confirm that below. So let's go over the game plan for this guy. Tail shaft's got to come off, change this to a Silvia 6 gear set, put on my JSP shifter relocation. The trans mount I have will go back in it. I won't use this one. I will reuse my SQ adapter plate, so not sure what I want to do with this one yet. My reverse switch has to get transferred over because I put different plugs on mine. And also the Speedo gear from SQ has to be changed. I need to double check if the driven gear is the correct one, either like 30 or a 31 tooth, I forget. So what's in this box, you ask? Let's find out. So I knew the J160 in my car was already tired, so thank you EP Importers, Etsy Ryu. I got all this Nissan stuff for J160. So my original plan was to rebuild my spare. So we have third gear Synchro, couple sleeves with a 1, 2, and 3, 4 sleeve, since it was second and third I had an issue with, and then the first and second gear Synchro looked to be the same. Fourth gear Synchro, just because the trans was coming apart. And then this part number is either 5th, 6th, or reverse. All those 3 gears use the same Synchro. If you guys already know, the trans in my car is already converted to Silvia 6 gear, so it's a 7-6-7 ratio instead of the shorter original J160 ratio. I did a write-up, so I'll link that in the description below. I have like less than 5 days till the track day, so Sunday fun day. Let's get started. Alright, so here's the bell housing adapter all apart, and then I have the hardware because I'm just gonna zip tie these two together so they're not out of place. Some interesting things about this bell housing, I see it's been modified to fit that hardware. I know from the Shed Life YouTube channel, he runs a Night Parts adapter plate, which I think you have to send this bell housing in so they can shave off, I think, 5 mil off of it. But so if I end up doing anything, sell these or whatever, I guess this and this guy would probably go together. So I got the shifter tripod out and I rolled the transmission input and make sure it goes into all 6 gears, all 6 forward gears. So far so good. It shifts really smoothly. I am a hair worried about the amount of play in this input shaft, but maybe that's normal for a J160 or this gear set, or maybe it's not, who knows, maybe I could be in trouble. Alright, starting to tear this guy down. I just realized I'm gonna replace this output seal regardless, just good insurance. I have this from way back. I forgot where I ordered it from, but there's the Toyota part number, and then the NOK is who makes the seal, and the NOK part number should be and I'll leave it in the description below, but AH2240H, maybe OH, but. And then back in the day, I forgot where I got this seal too, but the national part number for a J160 seal should be right here, 223840. Alright, getting ready to take off the 6th gear set and put on the Silvia S15 6th gear. It's interesting, I have the S15 and the Altezza manuals, and the Toyota one wants you to use this like steering wheel puller to pull the gear up, whereas the S15 manual tells you to put a slide hammer with this attachment on it. So I would highly recommend this. I don't think I want to slide hammer anything on this transmission actually. Here's the Speedo gear. It says 10x34-36. That might be an issue because I forgot what conversion from SQ Speedo gear set I have in here, so this may or may not work with the metal gear on the table, but I am short on time and I am just going to take the risk, take the plunge. On the SQ Engineering website, it wants you to look at how many teeth are on the driven gear to determine what size gear you need, but unfortunately the guy in Japan who used to own this took out the driven gear, so who knows why, but that's why I'm at a loss. Yeah, sorry you guys, I'm not filming a time lapse or anything because again, this car has to do a track day in less than 5 days, so back to work. There's a lot of misconceptions about the 6th gear being a cruising gear on a J160, so I pulled up my write-up post. Stock T50 .861, stock J160 869. So if you put in a J160, the 6th is actually shorter than the factory T50 5th. I have my S15 Silvia output gear, driven gear, and brand new Synchro. And I just want to show you guys a size comparison. You can see for sure the taller gear set, so hopefully you guys can make that out. This guy's far smaller than that gear. I had to double check in my write-up how I did this last time. So Harbor Freight puller tool, it's the small puller, and then stack 3 of these arms on top of each other to get this length. Yeah, small puller, and that's what it looks like. So I sprayed some PB Blaster just to loosen it up. I'm gonna use a torch and heat this guy up just a little bit, and then I'll kind of do a time lapse for you guys of the gear coming off. There it is. Alright, so here's where it gets a little bit tricky and a little bit dangerous. So typically to replace 6th gear, you need to pull the transmission apart and press on it a certain way, because you're actually not supposed to put force on the ID of any bearings. So what we're going to do to minimize the risk, we're going to heat this guy up and then very quickly press this guy on. And I'm going to have to fixture this guy in the vise. And why don't we get started? Alright you guys, I just about had an oh shit moment pressing on this gear. This made me decide that I do no longer recommend the press method. So a couple of things happened in the timeline. First of all, I found out this didn't fit, and you know, I tried to press it a little more and it looked like it wasn't gonna work, and this shaft didn't want to turn freely, so that was another clue. So I found out what happened. So pressing down on the output shaft actually pressed the bearing further up the shaft. So what I needed actually to do was to press the bearing and 6th gear more on down the shaft. So yeah, that was my oh shit moment. I was just about ready to take this case apart. Fortunately, I have the W58 5th gear and output bearing install tool. So what this guy does is basically this output spline, it locks against the output spline so that it can spread and do exactly what I need. Press the 6th gear bearing up in like that without putting stress down on the shaft. So this is now my preferred method. I have the old 6th and then a couple of things just to space it out because it's not meant for this, but this is now my recommended method to do it. And then you can see when you put the nut, it forces this guy, the driver, down. Yeah, so no longer recommended. This is the way to do it. And I'll show you the C-clip fits now. Shaft actually nicked this guy up pretty good, so maybe I'll try this one more time on another trans. If this actually doesn't take that much force, this should be a non-issue, but I was trying to press both of these at the same time, so maybe that's why this guy got so nicked up. But that's basically this guy's job. It'll lock against this, and here you guys can see this guy will fit now. So I'll install this, put all this stuff together, and yeah, we'll come back. So alright, here we are. Pretty much just gotta put the tail shafts back on, but there we go. S15 Silvia 6th gear set. What's the moral of this story? Come here, Dexter, come here. What's the moral of this story? After doing this for the second time, I no longer recommend this for like the average DIY guy. You definitely need special equipment to do this right, but I just wanted to show that the S15 6th gear swap is doable without taking the entire transmission apart. Again, fair warning, you need a lot of specialty equipment and a lot of knowledge. I would say a lot more experience to try to tackle this. So thank you guys for watching. Laguna Seca 8:22. Still gotta prep this car tomorrow. It is 12:13 a.m. right now. So us two are gonna clean up and go home. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment in the description below. You can support us on Patreon, merch at cmautohaus.com. Please leave a review for the podcast on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us out. Thanks, you guys. See you next time.